Hey, it's me and welcome to my channel. I'm going to be recapping on episodes of Eastenders, among other things. This is Monday's episode on the 22nd of July 2019. Let's get straight to it. So in the very first scene, Phil and Sharon are sitting down having a chat in the kitchen. They get a letter from Richie about the will. So Phil has added Keanu to the will. Ben doesn't know. It's going to be a whole thing, but Ben is spiraling anyway. He's going crazy, getting beat up, getting drunk. So yeah, Phil has got a secret. That was the end of that scene. The next scene was Bobby's birthday in the Beals house. Ben got some letters, Bobby got some letters. Bobby got a bracelet from his friend. Can't really say what the bracelet says. I can't really say where the storyline is going, but I'm waiting patiently. I have no idea what's going on with Bobby and his friend. It could go either way with the storyline. It could be like a little love thing, or it could be a little extremist thing. We have no idea. So Kathy pulls Ian aside. They have a bit of a chat about Bobby and Abby. So Ian wants them to tell Max that Rainey is in their house with Abby, but Kathy was like, no, let's keep it a secret. This way we get to keep Abby in the house. And they also say something about having a little party for Bobby later because it's his birthday, he's 16. Oh yeah, and Ian finds a little thing in the bin. It was a card that said thinking of you from Pam and Les. I think it's obviously got something to do with Ben and his relationship with their grandson. His name slips my mind, but I will remember. It might be the anniversary of his death, and Ben is obviously spiraling because of him and all that stuff. So in the next scene, they're in the market. The guys were having a bit of banter. I can't remember what they were talking about. Movie spoilers, something random like that. Sonia comes in, decides to throw a results day party for Bex, and everyone's like, yeah, that's a good idea, let's do it. She's like, Kush and Kat, you can come. And everybody was like, maybe not. They're still having their huge argument. Yeah, we'll probably get into that later. That's a whole other thing. So in the next scene, Phil and Shirley are having a little business meeting. They obviously got together, got money back from the Slaters. Ben walks in. Phil has a go at him for basically being a fool. His mum joins in. Everybody's pissed off. Ben storms off, and then Ian walks in. He shows them the card from Pam and Les, so they obviously start to feel a bit like, maybe Ben's going a bit mad because, maybe he's a bit sad, but he's still being a fool. And then he bumps into Callum. Callum asks if it's alright. Ben goes off on a tangent about his life and then storms off. Callum looks at him lovingly. They're having a little thing, and Whitney's going to be heartbroken, but we'll get into that later as well. I can't talk about that now. So in the next scene, Whitney's really excited. She's talking to Tiffany about business, getting a store up, getting social media, getting people involved. She tries to get Tiffany involved. Tiffany's not too sure, and she decides that she's moving back to Milton Keynes. So in the next scene is Jack in the cab. Max walks in. Max is drunk. Jack is having a mare. They have a bit of an argument about the fact that Max is drunk, and they start talking about the fact that the police are still on the case, trying to take him down for beating up that kid. They have a chat about Max being his alibi, and they're like, no, it's too dangerous. No, he didn't say too dangerous. He said it was too obvious to make your brother your alibi. Like, they'll just see right through that. That's what he said. And then the whole time in that scene, there's Stuart glaring at them, and when they leave, he gives them a little look as well. So in this scene, Phil finds Ben. They start talking about Paul because Phil told him he found the card in the bin. And Ben kind of opens up a little bit. He starts talking about how Paul really made him a better person. He was a better person when Paul was around and he's never going to be like that again. Phil gives him a bit of a pep talk. He was like, you've got to think about the business and the future. And he's like, Paul wouldn't want to see you like this. Ben kicks off. He was like, well, when Paul was around, you didn't want to get to know him. Literally screams at Phil to leave, and then Phil leaves, which is kind of a shame because, you know, Phil Mitchell's not that kind of person. He's not, you know, it's the last time he does that again. This is what he gets for opening up, really. So in this scene in Whitney's flat, Whitney and Tiff are having a bit of a chat. Whitney wants to move back to Milton Keynes in a couple of days, basically not tell anyone. Whitney doesn't think it's a good idea. She was like, everyone's going to miss you. You should tell Bernie and Jack. Tiffany saw Bernie won't care. They've obviously had their little thing. It's actually quite a big thing. Tiffany's gone through a lot as well with Evie and all that stuff. So it's probably a good idea if she goes. I don't think she would, but it's not a bad idea. Whitney basically agrees, not really agrees, but just sees it on her side. I'm going to miss you kind of thing. We're going to have a good... So here we have Rainey and Stuart. They're having a little talk in the Beals house because obviously Kathy has rescued them. They talk about how they can't go back because obviously she stole from Jack and Max who want full custody. Rainey's like, I'm going to stay low, figure out what to do, and Stuart is basically like, I've got a plan. So back in the cafe, Stacey's there, Mac's there, he's getting drunk. Kathy tries to talk to him about Abby. Not really sure what she was about to say, but Max kicks off. Stay away from my family, I know what you're up to, and then he leaves. Stacey tries to talk to him and Kathy's like, nah, he needs to sober up. So in this scene we are in the salon with the niece and the Taylors. They're basically just laughing around, talking about how Karen has probably seen someone. Tiffany walks in, not expecting to see Keegan. She runs away, and that's the end of that scene. So in this scene, Stuart contacts Jack, tells him to come over urgently. Jack's like, what is it? What do you want? Walks in the room, and it's Rainey sat there on the chair. The scene cuts to Kush and Kat. They're making out in the park. I'm still not quite used to them as a couple, but they are actually kind of cute. So are Jack and Denise. I got used to them a lot quicker. They are super adorable, and I'm sure they had a thing back in the day where she threw water on him. Let me know if you remember. Let me know in the comments if you remember. Anyway, Kush and Kat go into the shed. Turns out it was a whole parents trap situation because Stacey was expecting Martin in the shed, and now they're locked together. So in this scene, Rainey, Stuart, Jack, they're in the kitchen. Jack's fuming. Rainey's all, oh, I'm sorry, the money's gone. Don't call the police. Don't tell Max. Blah, blah, blah. Jack's thinking, what in the world? Turns out they have a proposition. Stuart was listening in on that conversation the whole time. He knows Jack needs an alibi. Rainey now knows about it, and Rainey offers to give Jack an alibi if he forgets about the money and doesn't tell Max that she's here. So it cuts off to Martin and Kush outside the shed. The girls are yelling, let us out, let us out. They've been parent trapped. They have to sort things out. Stacey can't forgive Kat because Kat tried to use the money to help Kush with the custody battle, and also in one of their arguments, Kat called her mad. Stacey said she can't forgive that. I remember that argument. Stacey said some things, Kat said some things. I think the whole situation's a bit blown out of proportion, but at the end of the day, Stacey's the one who stole Kat's stolen money. So I feel like they're both in the wrong and they just need to move on. So the next scene, Whit, Tiff, Bex, Sonia, they're in the pub having like a little leave-in do for Tiff. She's still upset, there's nothing here for me. Storms off looking amazing in her white jeans. That was basically the end of that scene. The next scene was Rainey walking out of the police station. Presumably she'd just given Jack an alibi. So the next scene is Bobby's birthday. He blows out his candles. He gets a bit weirded out because he sees a photo of Lucy and walks away. Ben has a cute little moment with his daughter. has a chat with his mum, and his mum and him talk about Phil. Ben thinks Phil wants him to take the reins a little bit more. I mean, the conversation he had with him earlier was very confusing. It was something along those lines. So Ben decided to go over to Phil's and give him some birthday cake. That's not even a joke. So in the next scene, Phil and Sharon are having a chat in the kitchen. Not quite sure what they're talking about. Something to do with Ben. Shirley walks in because they have a business meeting. Sharon's pissed off because they obviously used to be together. But that was basically the end of that scene. In this scene, Bex runs into Tiffany at the cafe, gives her a little heart-to-heart, a little talk about honesty. Tiff seems inspired, like she's maybe going to tell the truth. We don't really know, but it was a nice little chat between them. Maybe a little friendship thing, maybe a little sisterly thing going on, which is quite cool. So Jack and Rainey get back from the police station. They're basically square for the money for the alibi, but Jack's like, no, I've got to tell my brother. Max walks out, he's fuming, pushes her down to the floor in front of everybody, drunk as well. So the whole custody thing, he might not get custody of Abby. Kathy basically tells him to go away, sober up, she'll take care of Abby and she can see him after. So in this scene, Ben goes to Phil's to speak to him. Turns out Shirley's there. Ben gets told that Shirley will be taking over some of his duties, basically. So in this scene, Tiff goes to find Keegan to tell her she's leaving in her white jeans, back at it again, looking amazing. They have a little lover's tiff, because her name's Tiff. And then she tells him that she's leaving, he's not very happy about it, and then he storms off. So, very short scene before the end of the episode. Max and Jack are back in the house, basically just making sense of what happened. Max is drinking, they have a bit of an argument, and that's basically the end of the scene. Obviously, Rainey's going to threaten full custody. Jack's not got his money back, but he's got an alibi. They're in a weird position. And then it cuts off to the last scene. So in the very last scene, Ben's obviously emotional. He had no idea his dad was going to take part of the business away from him. He doesn't even know he's being slowly written out of the will. Doesn't know about Keanu, but he's still very, very emotional. He's breaking the trophy that his dad gave him. And then he just looks up at the screen, all covered in blood and tears. And that was the end of the scene. And he got top billing for the episode. So that was the end of the episode. Ben got top billing for that episode. In my household, we like to say who got the dum-dum. By household, I mean me and my flatmate, we watch Eastenders religiously. So I will be doing a lot more of these recaps. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next one, and leave a comment for anything else you would like me to recap. See you next time.